How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another Judgment commentary of Nisemonogatari, but this time, I'm going to be checking out episode 8, which shall be the first episode of the Tsukihi Phoenix arc, continuing right from where we left off with the Karen B arc, and that last episode had a lot in it. I mean, for starters, it had a really epic fight somehow between Araragi and Karen. It had better choreography than you'd see in many different shonen, which is funny. But the fight seemed to be mostly, metaphorical, hyperbolic of the interaction between Araragi and Karen, and it just resulted in Araragi talking to her about how, in that he does think that she's right in trying to pursue justice, but she's not strong enough to. And at first I was like, man, why are you doing that? It seemed mean of him to say that, but in hindsight, no, he's kind of right. She did lack conviction. She was faced with the bad guy, she was ready to take him down, and yet she couldn't do it. Especially when you consider the fact that Kaiki is not actually very dangerous. He's only dangerous if you believe that he is. He was intimidating, so she was threatened by him, but if she had just stood her ground and fought back, there was nothing he could have done to stop her. So yeah, Araragi was right. He technically was. He needed to be the one to handle this, he and Senjugahara, and they did. They faced Kaiki. They didn't have to fight him or anything. He talked his way out of it, but still the end result is the same. He's gonna skip town, never come back. I hope anyway, if he knows what's good for him. If he comes back again, I would think that Senjugahara wouldn't hold back. He's lucky she didn't take him down right here and now. He's lucky that, as he pointed out, she's changed since they last met. He said that if she had been the way she was prior, she would not have hesitated to, shove a stapler into his face or put a pencil through his eye socket. And it was revealed some interesting things about Kaiki, like the fact that he does not believe in the supernatural himself. He thinks it's all made up, but he knows people who do believe in it. And that's the weird thing, is that most oddities, right? They come from people's minds believing that they exist, and then they come to be. So technically, you could make an argument that he's kinda right. Most oddities aren't actually real and only exist because people give them form, but technically they become real, so it's like a weird Tinkerbell thing. Anyway, long story short, it was a good episode, and it was a pretty good arc overall for the most part, but now we've got a whole new arc with a brand new attitude. So let's see what Tsukihi is getting into today. So, let's try and think about this. Let's try. I'm gonna try to go over the events of this episode through my brain and sort it out. The beginning was just talking about Tsukihi, learning a bit about her. Didn't learn too much new information, but we got a little bit more in there. And then she just comes in, Karen emerges wearing her own younger sister's clothing, and just, starts jumping all over Araragi, asking him if the clothes look pretty, if they look cute and all that. And of course he's like no at first, but then, she convinced him otherwise. She really convinced him otherwise by the end there. I don't even know what to say anymore. Honestly. Here's the thing. This series has done a pretty good job, actually, establishing narrative depth and thematic purpose to scenes that would otherwise look like fan service. Like the scene with Suruga, that had purpose, especially in contrast to later scenes. Like with Shinobu, that one also had narrative purpose, probably some of the most, in fact, it had the most narrative purpose out of any such scene that I've gotten in this so far. However, even if there's some deeper narrative theme at play in what was happening, I think it's outweighed by the fact that, come on, you're gonna tell me that they didn't include that for the sake of trying to be weird and fan servicey? even if you can apply narrative purpose to it, just the thought to include it at all seems to have been to serve that purpose, and any narrative depth might have just been an excuse at that point. I don't know, dude. That was really, really weird. Just peak weird. Peak weirdness right there. Just, I'm not even gonna describe in words what happened. You all saw it, unless you skipped it and are just watching this end part for some reason, but probably have seen the episode on your own anyway. But still, I think the scene speaks for itself. I don't need to say why it was weird. You can tell just by looking at it why it was. I mean, really, it was weird for a few reasons. So, I think that's all I got to say on the matter. Thank you, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe to be updated on more. Like and comment if you enjoyed. Your assignment is to try to explain to me why that scene had narrative significance. Tell me. Tell me why it had narrative significance that doesn't indicate that it's weird and actually serves some kind of greater artistic means. I mean, that made the bath with Shinobu and Araragi look like nothing. I mean, at least with that, most sensual themes of that one were subtler. They were never the central focus for the most part, nowhere near to the same degree as this. I mean, that kind of situation is not something you want to see depicted, if you don't have to. How long has it been frozen on that frame? I hope not too long. What is an awl? A small pointed tool used for piercing holes, especially in leather. Oh my. Yeah, you would have to go to a specialty store for that kind of thing. Why the heck does she want to use an awl specifically to pierce holes in them? Oh well, that's about it. Maybe next time we'll see if a phoenix actually does work its way into here. There's only 3 episodes left. Plenty of time to establish such a thing, and this one didn't seem to do a whole lot to further that point. It just seemed like some kind of weird epilogue for the Karen B arc, if anything. So, that's all, folks. Hope to catch you next time for episode 9. But till then, I will see you guys later.